Now his two lighties coming through. Get your popcorn because we've got you. Hi there. We are doing something a bit different today. Paige, this is a topic that is quite personal to you.
It is.
So today you are going to be taking centre stage and I am going to be asking you some questions. So if I venture into anywhere that you don't want me to, then just back me off.
Okay.
But yeah, this is going to be a personal one for you, isn't it?
Yeah, very personal.
Yeah.
I knew it was personal when you called me Paige.
Oh, well, yeah, I think it was appropriate to call you Paige for this one. And yeah, with that being said, the title for this one is Babies After Chemo.
Despite feeling a little bit apprehensive because I don't know what you're going to ask, I am looking forward to speaking about it. I feel like it's going to be emotional, but let's get into it for sure.
I feel like it might be too. My first question I wanted to ask you is, were you expecting your little angel?
No. When I fell pregnant, which was 3 months after I'd finished having chemotherapy, I actually thought I was having a relapse.
Wow.
Yeah, so the symptoms that I had fatigue, I had stomach pain, I was having sweats, my hormones were all over the place. They were very reminiscent to the blood cancer that I had.
Wow.
So yeah, I was freaking out.
Yeah, that must have been a scary time if there's similar symptoms to what you were having before and it was only 3 months after.
Yeah.
Wow.
And me and my partner had said to each other, we're not gonna go down the route of putting different contraception pills or anything in my body.
Yeah.
If something happens, it'll be a miracle anyway. And that is exactly what it was.
What did it feel like hearing that you're going to be a mum when you thought you were coming to the doctors because something terrible was happening? And with all that had just happened in this chapter of your life, with this crazy chapter of having the chemo to save your life, and now a new chapter was kind of beginning where you're being told you're pregnant. Like, what? I can't even imagine, like, what was going through your head? To
begin with, I didn't even make it to the doctors. It was, I had mentally prepared myself to ring my mum and say, it's back. And this time I wasn't mentally prepared like I was last time, because actually being mentally prepared the first time I wasn't either. It was all just so sudden.
As in mentally prepared to say, I have it. Right, okay. So you were actually setting yourself up to say that again. That is, wow, that must have been a lot. It must have been heavy.
I remember being in bed for quite a few days in a row just crying. And I remember being on the phone to my friend. I was like, this is it. Like, I know it's back. I then rang my mum. And my mum was asking so many questions, the right questions.
Okay. Like, what sort of questions, if you don't mind sharing?
Do you think you could be pregnant?
Oh. Well, that definitely was a relevant one. You just didn't know it.
Yeah. And I was like, what? Mum, like, no. Like, no, I can't be. And I was then thinking about the question, could I be? Of course I could be. But did I think I was? Absolutely not. So yes, I went to Tesco, got a pregnancy test, like the cheapest one, because I thought I'm not spending loads of money on a pregnancy test that it's gonna like say I'm not pregnant.
Wow.
And it said I was pregnant. Yeah. So that's how I found out.
I can't even imagine, like, it must have been an emotional roller coaster, thinking you've got that, your mum's saying, are you pregnant? You're thinking, no, like, you're just thinking something totally different. Why is she asking that? And then you're like, okay, well, I'll go and get a pregnancy test to rule it out and, no, she's going to be wrong. And then you're saying you're pregnant. Then what? Like, what's next? Tell me about the test bit, like the build up to that.
I'm very grateful still to have been on FaceTime with my friend the whole time.
Okay.
I remember ringing my friend and being like, my mum thinks I should go and get a pregnancy test. So she came with me on FaceTime to Tesco.
Wow.
She was on FaceTime when I took the pregnancy test, and when we got the results, and it was just me, her, and my partner on FaceTime, like,
Wow.
I think in the moment I was, my heart's beating really fast now because I was just in disbelief.
Was it surreal?
It was surreal because I never thought I was going to be able to get pregnant anyway, even before the cancer.
Wow, okay.
But in the moment, I think it was just processing it.
Yeah.
The pregnancy, I always say I didn't give myself enough grace. If I was to do it all again, God willing, then I would do it very differently.
I know, but come on, all what you were going through, what you had gone through, what you were still probably in the process of trying to accept and just acknowledge what had just happened. Because when you're going through this process, you're just going through it, aren't you? You're doing what you have to do to stay alive, to get to where you need to be. And then you don't actually get time to process it till afterwards. And you were only 3 months, after, that's not a lot of time at all.
Yeah.
And in that time, you're thinking, oh, it's coming back because you've got all these symptoms. So you hadn't had time to process anything. And now it's like you're pregnant. That's one of the biggest things you're ever going to hear. And now you're hearing it on, like you said, when you were thinking that couldn't happen. So, I can't even imagine. How do you even process that?
Yeah, I still say to myself a lot of the time, anything's possible, because I thought I was dying and I was actually growing a new life inside of me.
Yeah.
So I do know anything is possible now. But I've still not processed it. I've still not really dug back into that time, really, because it was one of the most beautiful things that I found out, but also one of the scariest things, because
yes,
I still hadn't even accepted the cancer.
Yeah.
I was just like, life's back on track. This is what I'm doing now. I was getting back into my career. I wasn't thinking about having a baby.
That survival mode and just getting back on track and all the kind of things that make you feel like you again. I can only imagine it'd be quite scary, okay, I haven't planned for this. And how many months in were you when you found out? Was it?
I was 6 weeks.
Okay.
So it was very, a month.
So you had a bit of time to plan, but not loads, not 9 months, just
no,
under 8.
My planning was I need to sort my life out and reach this expectation I had for myself before the baby's born.
Yeah.
So it was, it was a roller coaster of emotions, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which ended
No
in
doubt.
a much better place than it started. But I was just petrified.
Wow.
Petrified that, the cancer was going to come back. Petrified that I hadn't, life before I was diagnosed, it wasn't going the best in terms of I'd lost my job. So I was really focused on just trying to get back to a place where I felt comfortable in life, and I felt like smashing a career is what I had to do.
How was the pregnancy? Did you have any, concerns, worries going through it, about the cancer, or was it more concerns about the pregnancy, or both, or were you just kind of I'm going to go with it?
Pregnancy for me felt quite dark in places, because I think I first of all had a little bit of resentment of things that I hadn't got in place before I was going to have a baby. So I think I was trying to I need to do all these things before the baby arrives, and one of them was build the bank and feel like I was secure in who I was again, because I just got cancer at 29. I had no idea who I was. And second of all, I think as well, I was then thinking, okay, I could have this baby, but then I may not be here anymore.
Oh,
so
gosh.
I was even overthinking, why did I not take out the critical care insurance on my house? Because then my house would have been paid off. And things like that, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get my will sorted. And it just really drove me to do a load of life admin. I really pushed myself in my career, and, it gave me a sense of achievement that I was able to get what I wanted to get out of my career before I then became a mum.
Gosh, and such a short space of time to do all of that.
I know it was unachievable, but I think just mentally and emotionally, I was in a place where I was like, I don't know who I am. I'm about to bring the child into the world.
Yeah.
And it really made me look at myself and really think, you know, all these things I believe or value or traits that I have, are they really me? And I think it made me look at a lot of my relationships and the boundaries within those relationships and think, you know, I want to make sure that I feel as good as I can in myself and as secure as I can in myself before I then raise another child.
Yeah. And what were some of those values and traits? Could you talk about them? Did they come into question, would you say?
I suppose knowing myself, you know, being confident in a decision and seeing that through and doing that for myself rather than always having a decision which is made up by this advice and this person and you know, all these different influences. It's like, I want to do what I want to do. Like, me and my partner are going to raise this child how we believe, but it's difficult, like, you know, it comes into question boy or girl, nursery, school, like all these things where there's, you know, opinion. And, you know, like...
People are always very giving with their opinions.
Yeah. You know, there's societal norms, we'll say, isn't there? And, it was...
And if I know you, like me, we kind of like to do our own thing and go against the grain a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Not just being, you know, in a way of, I want to be different, but just in a way of, you know what's best for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is different and other people may not understand it, but it's what you want to do and you're going to do it.
Well, I suppose that's a gift that I really grew into in this life after cancer, because I didn't have that previously. And I think getting pregnant really made me just wake up, because I put myself through hell at the beginning of my pregnancy, and then towards the end, you know, I'm grateful that I just slowed into it and just was like, chill out, like this is a new chapter to lean into. But of course it took me probably about 8 months to have that realization.
Gosh, and that's when you're nearly at the end. But I imagine it took that time because you have to see, you know, that you blossomed and you grew and she was growing and everything was okay on the checks, and those are all things that come with time, aren't they? Because, you know, I guess we're at the beginning, you couldn't see what the end looks like, and it was, from what you've said even, it's hard to even think about what the next 8 months would have entailed, because when you've talked about what you actually went through, it wasn't, you know, normally I guess in a pregnancy you'd be thinking, right, oh, the baby's coming, you know, I'm going to be planning this and planning that, and you were thinking, right, my career, like you said, you know, I've got to work out getting money in the bank for this baby, critical illness insurance, like those are things that someone wouldn't normally be thinking of, but you were thinking of them from a, you know, it's kind of like, I guess, a caring and responsibility kind of thing, and it just sounds like you went a lot into that. And that was probably quite a weight on you.
Yeah.
And you had to get past that bit to get to the next stage. And it was more than a lot.
I had to let go of a lot. Yeah, you're right, I did, because it's even heavy looking back to that time. I don't like looking back to that time.
Yeah.
And I think even now when I mentally have dips or lows, I'm always like apprehensive because I do remember that time.
Yeah.
I'm glad I went through it, because it's just very much shaped how life is now, like a lot slower. I try to put less pressure on myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got to be that way, isn't it? Because if the universe wasn't telling me to slow down by giving me a baby, after 3 months after finishing chemo, then
it was a big blessing. But also some messages in there, and wow, the way you've just rolled into it as well, it's like another story. But yeah, you as a mum, I met you as a mum, and I love you as a mum. I love you as you.
Thank you.
But as a mum as well, like, it's the most beautiful thing to see. Like, you just love on a different level.
Oh,
and
that's so sweet.
It is so beautiful to see. It really is. Yeah. She's everything to you, and you can see that in just every time you look at you two together. You see that, and she completes you. I can see it.
She's my mini-me for sure.
Yeah.
You know what you were saying about how was pregnancy, like with the, I suppose the physical health side of it.
Yeah.
I think when I was going through my pregnancy, I was quite surprised at how much I was able to be calm to symptoms that arose.
Okay.
And I don't know whether it's like mother's intuition, what's it called? Mother's intuition.
Mother's intuition, yeah.
Mother's
'Cause
intuition.
I'm thinking that even as you're saying it, 'cause you knew you had this little life growing in you now, and it's like you have to think a bit differently, because it's like I'm thinking for me and her now.
And I knew after I got out of that dark period that anything that happened with my body, I just had to make sure that I did what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because I did have a few moments when I went through the cancer and the chemotherapy where I didn't feel like I fully advocated for myself.
Okay.
So when it came to hospital checks, or it came to procedures or injections, anything like that, you know, it was a lot to kind of stand up for myself in the moment. But I think I just had that strong mother's intuition from early. I was really fortunate throughout my pregnancy because I was alerted as high risk. I had a lot of scans, which was great because I was able to see the baby as often as I could do. At the end, they were really pushing for me to go down one route because they were worried that the baby was growing at a slower rate. And I think in that moment, my personal choice was not to go down an induction route. We'd done a lot of research between us, me and my partner, and we just decided that wasn't the route for us.
Good.
So I was able to push and get a C-section, which we ended up going for. In that moment, I think that just really pushed me to actually think, right, this has been the ultimate test.
Yeah.
Babyhood, toddlerhood, adulthood, like we've just got to go with our gut and go with our parental intuition, and you know, always like trust ourselves, because there's just so much opinion, and there's a lot of good advice, like necessary advice and things that you need to do when raising a little human, but there's also just a lot of noise, isn't there?
At the end of the day, first of all, you are the parents and it's your child. And I think people don't realise that every child is different.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean, oh, they're different children. They act differently. They do different things. They'll learn differently, you know, based on the time they spend with you or the time they spend with other people, what they watch, you know, what kind of activities they do, what adventures they go on. So every child is different. So there's not one rule for all. You know, this happened with my child, so that's what you need to do. It doesn't go like that. Like, you know, your child is their own individual person. They're a little person that needs some guidance, but they're every kid's different. So there's no book on parenthood to be like, do it this way and that works for everyone. Like you have to kind of find your way as a parent, don't you? Yeah.
Still figuring it out.
Yeah,
literally.
Well, listen, I think that happens throughout your entire life. You're always still figuring things out, because kids like to just change and do stuff, and then you're like, oh, we're doing this today. Okay, like, you know, and I don't think there is a right or really wrong way to do things, you know. It is just based on your child, and the main thing is them being happy, isn't it? So I think you're doing a great job so far, though.
Thank you.
I'm not just saying that, I'm just, you know, like I said, I love how you parent. I really do.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
It really does.
It is true. It's, you parent very lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah, you indeed. How are things now? Because she just turned 2 the other day, right?
She is perfectly healthy. She is so strong. She...
Like her mama?
Thank you. She's full of life. She's hilarious. She loves the outdoors. She's incredible, I think that bond that you have, it makes everything else, like, you know, seem quite irrelevant.
Yeah, it's lovely how you put that. It really portrays the importance of that bond and that time together that you have, and just getting to know them and them getting to know you, and their little personalities and their demands and how you meet them.
But you know, it's crazy to think back, like, she's 2. It was 3 years since I found out I was pregnant with her when I finished chemotherapy. And there was a lot of guidance that said, don't get pregnant, don't try for a baby.
I can imagine.
As I said before, I didn't think it was possible for me because I wasn't able to go through the process of freezing my eggs.
Yeah. So let's talk a bit about that, because lots of women are given the option to freeze their eggs before chemo, just because of the drugs, and not just the chemo drugs, but other drugs can affect you having babies. So what was your scenario?
I did want to freeze my eggs, but
Okay.
it was too much of a rush. When I was diagnosed, it was already stage 4 in the bones, and I was told I needed to go in for chemotherapy like the next week. But when I then had a further scan, things had accelerated a bit, and I only made it to the first appointment of the IVF, and they said, no, you need to come in tonight to start treatment. Because, yeah. I remember the night that I got called in for chemotherapy, I was devastated. I'm not sure what I was devastated at. I think in hindsight, I was probably quite relieved I didn't have to go through the IVF process, because I was about to start chemotherapy, an accelerated, very strong chemotherapy, because you know how it works. It's like, can the chemotherapy save you before the cancer kills you? Like, how strong is your body? Like, that's what it's all about. So they were like, you're young and was healthy, let's blast you, ultimately.
Yeah, seems to always be the way. Let's just go in really, really hard, and don't know if it's always the best way, but
yeah, I knew what was about to take place to an extent. I knew I was going to have chemotherapy. Didn't know anything else about it, so I was quite relieved not to have to go through the process of IVF, because it's not for the faint-hearted. It's you know, a whole process, physically, emotionally, and mentally. And I wasn't ready to do that when I'd just been told I had cancer and I needed to go through chemotherapy. So it is quite hard to actually say that out loud, because in the moment I was like, I shouldn't be feeling this, but I was just, what is going to happen? I want to like just minimize everything as much as I can, because I knew it was already going to be grueling. So yeah, that's how that went down. I then went through the process of chemotherapy, was told at the end, you know, we of course told you it reduces your chances of getting pregnant, it may make you infertile. I signed the paper anyway because I wanted to live, and I felt like I had no choice at the time. But 3 months on, that is a thought that I had compartmentalized. I hadn't got it out of the locker yet. Like,
which thought?
Of I'm not going to be able to get pregnant. I didn't freeze my eggs. It's just a thought that I locked away, and
I can only imagine, because it was time to save your life, and I guess everybody was really focused on that.
Yeah.
And you had to focus on that as well, because, you know, just to not, I don't want to cut in, but I'm just thinking back to, you had been on this journey of going to the doctors and them telling you there's nothing wrong with you, it's in your head, all these things. And now it was like, okay, you've got the worst thing ever, and you're at a really late stage, and we're gonna try and get you to live. And it was just like, you just had no time to process anything. I don't even know how emotionally you could have dealt with anything apart from just putting things in a box or pushing them to the side, because just even showing up every day to say, okay, how are we going to do this? I can't even imagine like how that was.
Yeah. Hard to remember how it was, really. I'm glad it worked out the way it did, because, you know, this is me just really having a strong feeling, nothing else, no science or anything, but I don't think I would have felt pregnant if I didn't go through chemotherapy. I feel like it just killed everything off in my body restarted, and I was just mega fertile.
Yeah.
Mega fertile, yeah.
Yeah, clearly. You know what, let those blessings rain down, because that was just like the biggest gift ever, like after what you've just been through. And, you know, I imagine it just gave you life, and you gave her life, but I kind of imagine in my heart like she gave you life as well.
So much life, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. Gosh, I feel emotional now.
Yeah. Wow. I love it. And, you know, if we can go like a bit deeper, if you don't mind, like, let's get the tissues out.
Catch it.
You know, it's just such like I said, a beautiful blessing. And now she's here and you're having to run round after her and do all the things she wants you to do. And, you know, you've got this little life that you're looking after and guiding in the world, and she's guiding you and wakes you up every morning. And, you know, when you wake up in the morning sometimes and you're feeling a bit rough, because we know that there is aftermath that comes with this. How is getting up every morning? I imagine, you know, when you have a baby, you're just like, okay, I have to get up and do the things I need to do, and it's the most beautiful distraction. But then there must be times when you're with your own thoughts and your own feelings and how your body feels and stuff like that. And I just want to kind of touch on those times, if you don't mind, just talking about those, because, you know, we're talking about babies after chemo. But it's about you as well, like how you feel, the things and emotions and feelings you have to go through physically and mentally. And I think it would just be really good to talk a bit about that.
When I first gave birth, even though I had a C-section, I felt good.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt really good. I think probably I wasn't able to fully acknowledge and process the pain of the C-section because I was used to dealing with pain.
Wow.
I know that sounds really flippant to say, but
I hear you on that.
Yeah.
That pain threshold really gets pushed up when you go through something like this.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
It does. I'm so grateful that I was able to breastfeed her for 6 months. But the breastfeeding for me was the start of an autoimmune disease that I have.
Okay.
Which causes a lot of chronic pain and fatigue.
Okay, which autoimmune?
Fibromyalgia.
Is this something that came on after your chemo? Was it something you had before?
So it started a few months into breastfeeding my daughter, and I went to a rheumatologist because my joints were really bad. I was getting a lot of pain. They did a few tests and they ultimately said, like, you're suffering from fibromyalgia. I remember when I was diagnosed with that a few months after giving birth to her, I was like, absolutely not. I literally just like read the letter she'd given me, read the diagnosis, and I was like, I refuse to acknowledge this right now.
Wow.
And carried on being increasingly fatigued, increasingly in pain. I carried on breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sahara was getting so much nourishment.
Yeah.
I was like having like a lot of life sucked out of me because it's obviously just so draining on a woman's body to breastfeed.
I know, but on top of everything that happened as well, oh my gosh.
And I do remember kind of having a few people suggesting that I shouldn't breastfeed, but I was like, I want to make it to 6 months. I shouldn't have pushed myself, but I did. So my body was in a really bad place again, to the point where I was like, it's back.
Oh my gosh.
I was apprehensive, but I wasn't as petrified as I was when I found out I was pregnant, but I thought I was having a relapse.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'd been so humbled by her birth and having a daughter now. I felt like it was going to be fine, but I still was freaking out at the same time, if that makes sense.
Would you say she gave you a new strength?
I just there wasn't any other option than to be okay, because I needed to be here for her.
Yes.
So I think the mental turmoil that you can go through after chemotherapy and having cancer and then having a baby, like that really does play on my mind sometimes, because I'm like, oh wow, like it's not a silly thought that it could come back.
Yeah.
And then when you're experiencing symptoms that are very reminiscent of what you had cancer wise, it's it takes work to sometimes push those thoughts back, and then sometimes you have to surrender to it and just be like, have a cry, express to who I need to express to, just get it out, and then just crack on. Like, being in the moment is like my current thing, where I just try and just immerse myself in the moment and not worry about that much.
Yeah. It's so important to release emotion, isn't it? Because if you hold on to it and don't release it, I know some people think crying is a weakness, or they don't want to cry because they feel like they need to be strong, but you need to let it out.
It needs to come out. It's often a relief.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you have a cry.
Yeah. And then you just have the frog eyes for a while afterwards, and then, and then it goes down, then it's a bit like, you take a breath and keep it moving. But at the same time, I imagine it was still hard because you still got thoughts, and it's like, okay, if you're thinking something's back, it's always that kind of, okay, I need to get checked out sort of thing.
After giving birth and you feel some type of way and you're like, it's a great excuse to actually just sit and enjoy and be with your baby. But I did have moments when I was feeling shit some days.
Yeah, of course.
And even now when I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've got a active, full of life toddler and I feel broke up and I've got no energy and I need to like, go explore the world with her. It's tough. And, I'm getting better at asking for help, but I'm also getting better at thinking, it's fine to have a slow day today.
I hear that, and that's good because babies don't recognise when you're ill or you don't have energy that day. They're just like, come on, let's go. And it's like, what's wrong with you? Come on, why aren't you doing what you was doing yesterday? Let's go. You know what you need to do.
My daughter's new thing is wake up, wake up, wake up. I'm sure she's done that to you a few times.
She does, and she's not stopping till I wake up.
No.
Yeah, and she is. That's it. They go. Kids are like 100%, aren't they? Like from morning till when they sort of like, I get a bit tired, but they just wake up, and I'm just looking. I'm like, can I have some of that energy, please? Like, I want that energy. I want to wake up and just be on 100% already, 100% battery, fully charged, ready to go.
You've said this to me before. Baby energy, toddler energy. Like, there's nothing like it. Like, it's good for me. It's like the best medicine, like just being outside with her and just doing something really simple and just spending time is, it's one way that I help keep myself well. And baby energy is just, you can't be sad around babies. Like, they just won't let you. Like, I just love how, they would look at you and just be like, why are you doing that? Why are you being sad? There's so much to be joyous about. And then they'll do something to make you laugh or just pull you, they'll get your hands and be like, come on, like you just can't be sad around them. So their energy is so like pure and perfect and innocent. There was probably a bit of build up to doing this type of interview. I know it's one that you wanted to do. You've been so honest, and I know it's been emotional throughout. I didn't want to hug you because I didn't want to, make you like feel more and more emotional. But no, it's a lot of the time it's happy tears. At first, when I didn't give myself grace and my mind was very mean to me. And all sorts of what ifs and resentments and just being stuck in the past. Past was tapping me on the shoulder and being like, oh, are you sure you're gonna enter this next chapter? How can you be dying and then have a baby?
And it's like, how did I get here?
How did this happen? I mean, we know how it happened, but how did it happen?
Well, it was you.
Anything is possible. Like, I honestly, it's just really made me have that anything is possible mindset now, because the data and the stats are the data and the stats, but
data and stats
so
are just
different.
They're data and stats, and you can be different. Not everybody is data and stats. It's just a gathering of information based on what they found. But sometimes they'll push it on you so much, they'll make you into a stat by making you feel like this is the only way, this is how it's going to go for me, because this is how it went for a million other people. But it's being, you know what it is, it's being like, I'm not going to be a stat, I'm going to find a way to do things my way and what's best for me, and that is what always works best. And I'm sure you did a lot of that. I'm very sure in my heart you did a lot of that, and that's why you are where you are. So I'm glad you did a lot of that. I really am.
Me too. Wow. I feel good now. We talk about that. No, I do. It's just, I suppose I've always touched on it before, but I've never really spoke about it like this. So it's been good, and it's also good to just reassure that end of chemo isn't gonna mean everything that it says on that symptom list.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to believe that a lot of the aftermath is true,
Yeah.
but a lot of it isn't.
Yeah, that's a very good way to put it.
Yeah.
And again, you know, it depends on the person as well and what you want for yourself. Like, you know, the doctors, oncologists will always put you into a box, and it's just whether you're going to go in that box. You just have to know yourself, trust your body, and do some research. This is the one thing I always say: do your research. Do your research, understand what you've got, and also understand yourself and what you're capable of. And just don't let them label you, put you into a box and say, this is it. Because if you accept that, then that inevitably will be it. But if you're like, no, you know, I'm going to create a different box for myself. These are the things I want to pour into my box. And this is how this is going to work for me. And then, it can totally go that way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So babies after chemo.
Yeah. So
healthy babies after chemo.
Yeah.
Can I say very healthy
Yeah.
babies after chemo?
Yeah.
It is absolutely possible.
And that begins with a healthy
Absolutely.
mama. And, you know, we talk about health, we're talking about mind, you know, and the physical as well. So everything starts with your mind. So that's got to be the healthy place first and nourished. And that's something that we have to do, isn't it? By releasing emotion and crying and, you know, talking to ourselves in a positive way and being in touch with our body. So, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess on that note,
See you soon.
see you soon. And thank you for being amazing, as always.